Welcome back to Shelbz for the Culture, where we get into the shows, the moments, and the mess that everybody's talking about. It's just me in the studio today. I'm running camera, sound, and talent, so bear with me. So today we're diving into Bravo Hot Topics, specifically the Real Housewives of Atlanta and the Real Housewives of Rhode Island. We've got everything from shady confessionals, messy friendships, business struggles, and a little bit of chaos that honestly we live for. But before we get into it, breaking news. Rest in peace to Big Papa, who just passed away. News broke about an hour ago. I love you, Big Papa! Iconic. It's like a core memory of Wig with her red Solo cup and her cigarette, paying all cash for that SUV and just driving it right out the parking lot. So, pour up one for Big Papa, smoke one up for Big Papa. You gave us some iconic television. Rest in peace, Big Papa. And in happier news, I was really happy to see all the ATL celebrities show up for the Little Miss Drama tour. Angela was there with Angel and Dr. Simone from Married to Medicine, and I thought Dr. Simone body was tea. The titties was sitting just right. I think she went home and put it on them. Make them want to marry me. Put them on to make them want to marry me. Ay. Put it on to make them want to marry me. But yes, ATL's finest was in the building. And yes, Simone, I know I rake you through the coals often on your looks, but yes, you were giving schoolgirl realness, honey. I was living. Yeah, Phaedra showed up. I just, Bravo stars, they're just like us, obsessed with Cardi B. I thought that was really cool to see Angela flicking it up with Angel and Dr. Simone. Let's get into Atlanta first, because you already know they came to work. So we open with K. Michelle in the hospital, and I want to applaud K. Michelle for being transparent about this journey. I wish everyone was as transparent about, you're entitled to your privacy, but it's just super delicious, and there's power in knowledge, and if you have a platform, I think it's great when you can be real about enhancements that you've had. I am pro plastic surgery. I am pro women doing whatever they want with their bodies. But don't go on Groupon. Don't be cheap with it. And also, how many businesses would go under if women woke up tomorrow and decided that we love ourselves just as we are, K. Michelle even said, I risked my life to enhance my butt to a butt I already had. And it does make me wonder, how many of us already have a beautiful nose? You already have, or you're getting work done at 19. You don't even let your body develop. It's a slippery slope. It is a very slippery slope. I think it can be very tastefully done. Who am I thinking of? I am completely blanking. She's playing Miranda, not Meryl Streep, but she's playing it in London. This is gonna really bother me. Her face is right there. Vanessa Williams. Oh my gosh, that was really gonna bother me. But yes, okay, Vanessa Williams is she's goals. She's goals right there. She didn't start too soon. I feel like if you start too soon, you don't have you don't know where you're going. There's no neutral ground. There's no ground zero. And that's how people end up going too far. And so I feel like, do I think a 21-year-old needs Botox? No, I don't. I think a lot of people profit off of telling you that you do. And so I'm going to get off my soapbox. I just want to say, do whatever you want with your bodies, ladies. Don't go cheap with it, do not find your doctor on Groupon, and do not just be injecting yourself with anything, and do not risk your health, please. And you know what? You look good as you are. And I feel like there is so much out there indoctrinating us to not like our bodies. Don't let them win. So Portia and Shamia have been checking on her, and I was like, okay, Michelle, not the beat in the wheelchair, because you know what, if it was me, I would look like my circumstances. So Drew comes over to Angela's. Drew says acting pays her bills. Okay. She said it's a struggle to balance work and motherhood, and as we know, Drew recently lost custody of her kids, and you know what? I can't stand Ralph Pittman. Like, even before the divorce, he was always worst housewives husband, number one, worst housewives husband for me of all time. When he went on that trip and was MIA for 2 weeks in Florida and she didn't know where he was, oh, honey, could not be me. And then he came back gaslighting her, and then having the woman that was giving him massages. No, Ralph played in Drew's face. And don't even get me started on how he's handling Drew's oldest son. I just think if you claimed that you were going to be a father to this child, I don't like that now that there's a divorce happening, he's not included. He's being excluded from the rest of his siblings. And as someone that has been in that position, it doesn't feel good. And it would cost you nothing to include him in with the siblings. Like, okay, maybe you don't pay child support on him, but if you're coming and taking his siblings out, you can come and take him too. And apparently Ralph makes what, $70K a month, or was it $700,000 a month? Either way, I'm not trying to count people's money. I'm not trying to tell them what to do with their money. I'm just saying, at one point, you took responsibility over this child, and I think if you are the man that you have led us to believe that you are Ralph Pittman, you would not exclude Drew's oldest son that you claimed to be your son at one point. I'm gonna stop. But yes, back to Drew struggling with. So yes, I got so distracted on my loathing Ralph, because I do not like that man. I do not like Ralph. But so that to say, I have been rooting for Drew throughout this entire divorce proceedings, and I am so disappointed in Drew that you couldn't get the kids to school on time. Because you know what, we don't play about education around here, okay? There is no reason, all these resources, why you can't get your kids to school on time. So that's crazy to me that your kids are missing out on learning. And if I were the judge, I would have made the same decision. So Drew, I'm gonna need you to get that work life balance and motherhood. I'm gonna need you to get it together, and I'm gonna need you to get them kids to school on time. You hear what I'm saying? There's no excuse. So Angela echoes a similar sentiment, saying she is balancing her real estate career. So Drew shades Angela in a talking head, saying she's a real estate guru even though she lost money on all her houses. So Angela lost out to the tune of $2 million. Yikes. As a licensed real estate agent in New York, my advice, start with one. People have an issue with scaling. Pinky Cole, I'm talking to you. Doing too much too soon. Too many locations. Imagine if she had started with just one and put all her energy into that. She could have used the success from the first house to pour into the next one or two. But 3 from the jump? Of course you're bleeding. She says despite the setbacks, she's persevering. Okay, I ain't mad at you. You know, get back up again. Okay. Angela asks, what's happening with Black? Drew says once again that they are friends. She says he's in town and they're hanging out. I'm gonna need Drew to stop playing in our faces, okay? Looking up the definition of what a date is. Drew, stop. So we get Portia, 50 Cent, Phaedra, and K. Michelle at the nail salon. K. Michelle says she gonna get these checks, okay? She gonna show up and she not gonna look like her circumstances. So she updates the ladies on her healthcare scare, and that moment with Portia being like, miscarriage. K. Michelle laughed it off at first, but in a talking head, she says that Portia knows exactly what's going on since we've been talking about it. Just like I know her boobs aren't healing the way she wanted. Ooh, okay, clock that T. For me, Portia kept on interrupting when Kay was trying to speak, and that alone would have pissed me off. And if you're genuinely concerned that she might have had a miscarriage, that is certainly not the way to go about it. And I'm a big, huge Portia fan. And I also don't think Portia intentionally meant any harm. And I also think Portia has a track record. Your Honor, my client, Portia Williams, she has a track record of misspeaking. I would like to enter Exhibit A, 265 days a year, okay? My client, Your Honor, Exhibit B, she also thinks the Underground Railroad is a railroad. So we humbly, now I'm taking it to church, Lord, we humbly ask for forgiveness and keep an eye in your good hand and guide Portia to the light. Okay, and there's 365 days a year, Portia. Love you. Okay, so back to the nail salon. They start talking about the situation with Portia and Kelly, and K. Michelle's talking about hotbox this, hotbox that, and Cynthia, you knew what a hotbox was, okay? I just can't get enough of K. Michelle. Like, I feel like every scene that she's in, she's owning. But I guess that's not surprising to anyone that previously watched her on Love and Hip Hop. So, all right, Shamia's Rum Company. I'm seeing a lot of flack online towards Gerald, and I have to say, I actually like the questions that he was asking. If Sonia Morgan had Gerald in her corner, we'd have that toaster oven and she would still have that townhouse, okay? I feel like Gerald was asking the right questions. Shamia just wants... I get the vibe that Shamia is looking to have some sort of business of her own. And I can admire that. I understand that. But, one could eagerly go out and just slap their name on anything or just invest in anything. And you really should take a step back, pause, and assess the situation, get the specifics. So, look, Gerald is not a good house husband, okay? I'm not gonna fault him for not being good on television. I think it's a marriage of love. And I wish Gerald would participate more because I feel like it would help Shamia be more three-dimensional. If we got... I just love it when the husbands participate, honestly. I know they tend to get flack when they join in, but I liked Mo on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Ken Todd. I liked Peter at times. Yes, he did go too far at times, but I feel like, how could I not even say Nene? Like Greg and Nene. I just feel like most iconic housewives have had a husband to bounce off of. I'm not saying you have to, pull a Real Housewives of New Jersey husbands and, have their own storylines. I'm not saying you have to go that far, which I ate all of that up. I actually loved how involved the Real Housewives of New Jersey guys were. But yeah, like I don't fault Gerald for not being good television. But I do think he loves Shami, and I do think when he was asking those questions, he was not trying to undermine her business. He was not trying to sabotage it. I think he's trying to make sure we come in correct. And you want to have people like that in your corner. So back up off of Gerald, okay? Yeah, he doesn't make good television, but he gives A+ and being a good husband, okay? So yeah, with the rum, we got Shamia's rum company. Next, we see Pinky meet with her attorney to discuss filing for bankruptcy. And you know what? Props to Pinky for being transparent about her financial challenges. A lot of people will come onto these platforms. Dorit, I'm looking right at you, girlfriend. Okay. A lot of people will try to come onto these platforms and act like they got some shmoney. And then, you know, and like, even my queen, Nene, has, I think, after her first season, her house might have almost been foreclosed on. I don't want to get sued. But I feel like even the best of them have had some blemishes on their report card. So, you know, what Karen say, you gotta make millions to owe millions. And so I applaud her for being transparent, but honestly, I really don't have much for Pinky Cole. Like, ever since I found out about her wage theft with her employees, like, as somebody that worked in restaurants for 10 plus years, like, I can't. And, you know, if you think I'm being too hard on her because, again, other housewives have been guilty of it, like, yes, housewives should pay their stylists. They should pay their makeup artist, Drew, or what's her face from New Jersey. Oh, it's going to bother me. She had the kids' clothing line. You know who I'm trying to think of. And it turned out she didn't pay her people or pay her makeup artist or hairstylist or whatever. They absolutely deserve to get paid, but the scale, there's no comparison when you take into the account the scale of Pinky Cole's businesses. And if I go, I think it's different than one makeup artist or one chef versus the scale and the amount of people and businesses. I'm not trying to like compare. Everybody should get paid what they're owed. But I think, you know, whatever Drew has done in terms of not paying her people, Pinky Cole has done that times a million. That's all I'm saying. And guess what? I called Drew out. I called her out when that happened too. Like, I still judge her for it. I still side-eye her for the lack of paying her people. But Pinky Cole is like on infinity with it, and I am judging you. And when her scenes come on, I'm paying her dust. You know, she has a beautiful family, beautiful gowns. So yeah, moving right along. I'm just like, these are your just desserts. Pay your people, okay? So we get to sit down with Cynthia, Pinky, and K. Michelle, and we get K. Michelle's toxic tweets. I live for K. Michelle. I really do. So she updates them on the conversation at the nail salon and calls Portia a dingbat. Cynthia thinks Portia misspoke, and I agree. K. Michelle asked, what's Phaedra's deal? All she does is giggle. Oh my God, this took me right on out. Not K. Michelle clocking Phaedra. Like, dang, I feel like everybody is coming for Phaedra. And you know what? I hear you. Like, I'm not going to challenge that Phaedra hasn't given much so far, but we're only a couple episodes in. Like, goddamn. And you know, like, we opened the season with Cynthia giving us a, now what's going on? And I know she's just a friend, so before you come for my neck, I know she's just a friend, but like, I feel like we could go down the line. Cynthia, what have you brought so far? Portia, now that you have brought Sway in, great, but prior to Sway's introduction, all you had for us was a fake relationship and fake receipts trying to come for Kelly. That's boring. I don't want fake. She's redeeming herself now that we've gotten some real, we're bringing back the real into Real Housewives, and you're really dating Sway. Great. I'm glad we're going to get that. Yeah. Shamia, what has Shamia given us so far besides a rum company that, are you guys interested? Are you excited? Are you rooting for the rum company? I mean, I'm rooting for, everybody black, as Issa Rae said. But yeah, Shamia, what have you given so far, except for your tired conflict with Portia that has grown stale? I like Angela. Angela, no notes for you, girlfriend. No notes for you. You're clocked in. You're moving things forward. Drew, what have you given us except your man in the phone? And then we're going to get to this date soon, so I'm going to hold off on my points on that. But what has Drew given us? So I'm just like, can I just say, people are so hard on Phaedra, and it kind of reminds me, and I feel like people are going to jump me for this comparison, but people love to hate on Beyonce and Jay-Z, and I feel like for many years, people are always, I need a sip of water. I feel like if I had $1 for every time somebody was saying this rapper is better than Jay-Z, I would have a lot of money. And I feel like just the simple fact that Jay-Z has been retired for however long he's been retired, and you keep mentioning him, you keep comparing him, the fact that this is your favorite rapper and you have to compare him to Jay-Z, that just shows how bad of a mofo Jigga Man is. And yeah, I feel like I was maybe watching something from another singer, fill in the blank, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, I don't know, some other singer, and I saw in the comments Beyonce could never. And it's like, why can't you just enjoy and so that just shows how much of an icon Beyonce is. Didn't mean to go on a tangent. We in the Bay Have over here. Didn't mean to go on a tangent, but I feel like that just shows how iconic Phaedra is, that people are so hard on her. The expectations are so high for Phaedra. The expectations are not as high for Cynthia, clearly. The expectations are not as high, obviously, for Shamia, who is, even though it's her second season, is still giving rookie, So for all the Phaedra haters out there saying she's not giving anything, I think from what we can see coming up later on in the episode, I think next episode Phaedra will be activated with Miss Pinky Cole. And I just think it's interesting that we do not hold everyone else to the same standards, because if you're saying Phaedra's giving nothing, okay, fine. But if we were to take a step back, besides Angela and K. Michelle, what are the other ladies giving? Who is slaying? I'm excited for Sway though. Portia's about to come in and be top of pyramid for me. Okay, I here for it. But Phaedra, stop being so hard on her. Stop being so hard on Phaedra. So yeah. And yeah, K. Michelle, I love you. And maybe so far, I will say that's valid, that maybe so far all Phaedra has done is giggled and looked cute in her talking heads and giving shady reads. But you guys wait. I am calling it. Phaedra, before the end of the season, give her time. Let her have a slow burn. Has she not earned the right? Has Phaedra not earned the right to have a slow burn this season? Let her cook. Let her cook. So, Pinky throws Phaedra shade, saying she eats dead people. It got back to Pinky that Phaedra said she eats meat. My thoughts on this beef, pun intended. Pinky claiming Phaedra saying she eats meat would affect her business. The one that's in bankruptcy with multiple lawsuits. I'm pretty sure that's the least of your worries, Pinky. You're really just grasping for straws. But I'm excited for you to knock on that door and for you to get the response you're looking for. And yeah, I thought it was really boring just being like, oh, she eats dead people. Like, that's the best you can do, Pinky. Is that the best you can do? Rise up. Come on. So, Drew's non-date with Black, her friend. He brings her roses. She called him her best friend on the date. Like, I don't know if Drew is behaving this way because of the divorce proceedings with Ralph. If this is her idea of entertainment, I am so bored. That's like, I don't believe that that's your friend, you know? Like, there's a small part of me that wants to give her the benefit of the doubt and like, oh, you know, wouldn't that be sweet to be friends first? And, you know, she is legally married to someone else. So it does make sense, but get it off my TV screen. Go be friends somewhere else. Okay. You know, and also don't lie to me. Cause I think you're lying, Drew. Drew, I think you are lying and that is not your friend. Okay. And if he was just a friend, as you quote, because she also opened the season with this guy. Like, that couple event at Portia's Simon's, Portia's house, I could have done without it, especially the following week we meet Sway. Like, it was just so insincere. You know, I much rather appreciated Cynthia's doll or Shamia showed up alone. Like, I'm clocked in, I'm here to work, you know. Like, so Portia and Portia and Drew, leave your fake relationships at home or just be single. Just be single. Like, all it is, that's boring. Sit down with Black, you can save it. Like, I don't know. Am I crazy? What do you guys think? Do you think, my question to you guys, do you think that they're actually really friends? I think there's more to it. And if there isn't, it's not real. Like, get it off my TV screen. So Angela gives her daughter a tour of the new listing. They're set to close on Monday. So congratulations, Angela. Congratulations. That's amazing. And I guess the lesson here is it's okay to start small and build from there. She shared that she's struggling with the loss of her mother. Sending you a big hug, Angela. So Shamia's rum company, we have another scene. They got the meeting with Zoom. Look, I'm rooting for Shamia. I am just desensitized to yet another Housewives product. Every time I go on TikTok or Instagram, someone is trying to sell me something. And it's the same thing with Housewives. And I'm not saying I wouldn't do any different. But, you know, last year it was her music. This year it's rum. There's a whole graveyard dedicated to Housewives businesses. And I don't know. I'm getting bored with the wines and the alcohols. And I guess I'm curious. I'm a Libra moon and rising, so I feel like I can argue any side of any argument. And yeah, a part of me is like, what can you bring that's different? And then the other part of me is like, you know, the market is oversaturated, be damned, you know, like, make your mark. If there are 1,000, you be 1,001, you know? So I'm a little torn, and I'm also just sick of Housewives trying to sell me things. So I would appreciate it if we'd pick a lane, you know what I'm saying? And I want to see the decadence, the luxury, and I want to see the boss bitches, but the struggling to be a boss bitch with Whitney Rose, Salt Lake City, you know, like, I don't know. I just find out what you're good at and do it. And I don't know, stop using Housewives as like QVC. There is a QVC, and you know, you're not Stacey. So just Just be a good housewife. Who says you have to have a product? Let me have the rich husband, and I'll show you the life of leisure, how to do it, okay? So Pinky has a date night with her husband. She's stressed about the lawsuits and the business struggles. Like I said, I think she deserves it. All that wage stuff, yeah, karma. I do think it's strange that she doesn't want to share the bankruptcy with her husband. Major red flag. I believe finances are the #1 reason for divorce. Correct me if I'm wrong. I would imagine communication of the finances also plays a key role in that. So, major red flag. And this is coming from the same man that said, I humbled you. And I forget what other tangent she went on where she was basically saying she dealt with these hardships alone, and he was like, well, I was right beside you. But isn't it interesting that even though he was there, quote unquote, she felt alone? So, yeah, lots of red flags. So K, Michelle, and Portia link up. Kay tells her she is mad at her. I love Portia, but she's not a very good friend. We've seen it with Shamia. I even feel at times with her own sister, Lauren, she has dropped the ball and not shown up in a way that I would want my sister to show up. Just keeping it a buck. I'm glad that Kay, Michelle, and Portia were able to address it. I bet this is going to come up again, though. Portia said, shake the table, but not on me. And a talking head, Kay Michelle says she's going to give her the benefit of the doubt. So next time looks like we get Phaedra versus Shamia round, I don't know. Also, Dennis and Lauren have a scene with Portia. So I'm looking forward to the next episode. I feel like this was a solid episode. This season for Atlanta so far is really strong. Stronger than the last couple of seasons. The last season for sure, and the season before that for sure. So I believe in the ladies. I have to say, Rory is beating them. It's hard to not compare them, seeing as how they come on the same day. And they came out around the same time. Like, they premiered weeks apart. So it's hard to not compare the two. I just feel like Rory is coming in strong. But you know what? Real Housewives of Atlanta is like, they are the Beyonce, they are the Jay-Z, and they've given us so much that we compare everyone to them, and we are so hard on Real Housewives of Atlanta because they have set the bar so freaking high. So, love you, ladies. Stop bringing fake tea onto the show. I want real piping hot tea. There's so much juicy hot tea out on those Atlanta streets. Stop bringing fake stuff. Please stop bringing fake relationships. Just be single. Be single, ladies. I want to see that. Please and thank you. Okay, so now listen. Atlanta gave us mess, shade, business lessons, friendship issues, all of that. But let's shift gears a little bit, because over in Rhode Island, they are coming in hot. New franchise, same level of chaos, maybe even more. Let's get into Real Housewives of Rhode Island. This episode of Rhode Island, I have no notes. Absolute perfection. Pure entertainment from beginning to end. I want more scenes with Alicia and her family. Her aunt was like, he watered. He watered what? She was trying to say he wandered. Girl. Pizza chips. Okay, I want cheese on my pizza. I'm sorry. Cheeseless pizza, I'm with Ashley on that. So I love that Kelsey and Liz made up. I live for Housewives makeups, genuine ones. And you know what? Insincere ones too. It's kind of fun when they're like, I'm thinking of like Mimi and Kendra. And, next time she was like, sometimes I do you, and other times if I don't want to do you, I'm not going to do you. I butchered that, but y'all know what I'm talking about. So yeah, love for the makeups. I live for the makeups. And you know what? It gives them an opportunity to find new, fresh beef. So Joellen and her sister, it is kind of weird. it is kind of weird, but I feel like it's all very tongue-in-cheek, and we're talking about it. You know, I feel like they're all in on the joke. And yeah, I feel like it's funny to the sister. And maybe at first it might not have been funny to Joellen, but I'm curious of who's the older sister. Because, yeah, oh my gosh, also, her sister said she was 45. She looks amazing. Oh my God. And not for her age. She just looks amazing, period. But also, she don't look 45, okay? But if that's her older sister, even if it's her younger sister, like my younger sister is a Sagittarius, you can't tell her nothing. She's stubborn. But also, like, you can't tell your older sister shit. You know, I bet behind closed doors, Joellen tried to check that. And her sister like, bitch, whatever. You know, I'm kidding, you know. And, you know, if you can't beat them, join them. So I just feel like Joellen is probably taking it in stride. And I really, in my heart of hearts, I don't think that Joellen's sister wants her husband. But I do think it's weird that she wants her sperm. I think when some women are getting close to their biological expiration date, they come up with things like, hey, sister, let me use your husband's sperm. And that would be a no for me. We can go find somebody else's sperm for you, sissy. So that is where I do kind of like side eye, where I'm like, girl, what? You don't need that man's sperm. You can get your own, my love. But yeah, the jokes, you know, and Rhode Island seems small, and Joellen's man seems good. So I understand her being like, I don't care if you touched my sister's boob when you were in the 7th grade. You know, like, they've never kissed. You know, and like, we've all got the Michael Jackson movie on the brain, and y'all know 2 of the brothers have a baby mama in common, so it could be worse. It could be weirder. Okay. And you know what? This is the house that Mary built, you know. Speaking of Real Housewives of Salt Lake, we've just been so desensitized. People can marry their step-grandfathers, and, you know, so this is nothing. This is small potatoes, okay? Not weird at all. So, Alicia and her fiance, I'm forgetting his name, but you know what? Something is not adding up for me. What kind of a man? What do you mean you don't like to ask your fiance and the father of your child for money? You first off, you shouldn't have to ask. That's number one. You think Kelsey has to ask? And there are no children or rings involved in her situation. I bet she get that shit direct deposit. Her fiance wants a prenup that leaves Alicia with basically nothing? Bro. And you have a daughter. Alicia husband, fiance, non-husband. I'm talking to you, whose name I can't remember. I'm talking to you right now. Be the type of man that you would want your daughter to grow up and be with. How you gonna do the mother of your child? And why you put a ring on it to begin with if you didn't want to honor, love, and support her, or whatever the vows are of marriage? Why you put a ring on it if you're not gonna leave her a dime? Looking at you sideways. And yeah, be the type of man you want your daughter to be with someday. Treat her mother. Because guess what? Sometimes history repeats itself, and your children follow in your footsteps sometimes. If you wouldn't want your daughter to be in this situation, honor her mother in the way that you would want to see for your daughter. Okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox, but I think Alicia is on this show to get some financial independence. I wish her well. I thought Alicia overreacted with Rosie. And I loved that Liz told her that. I also loved earlier in the episode when, what did Liz say about herself? Oh my gosh, I want to find it. Welcome to Rhode Island, bitch. That was Alicia. Another Alicia. I love Jane's Fonda, living for that. But I wanted to find, where'd it go? Meh. There we go. Yeah. Liz said that she came across as a bitter, drunken witch, which I don't think she came off as a witch, but I did think that she overreacted, and I love that she called her own self out. That's the bad bitch I like. That's the kind of bad bitches I like. They can call themselves out. And Liz called herself out, and she was also like, look, Alicia, I think you're going to regret this just like I did. I was living for that. Liz, I like you, okay? I mean, the minute they said you gardened, I knew I liked you, so. But yeah, so I love that Liz called Alicia out on that, but I was side-eyeing the moment where Alicia was like, to Rosie, she was like, you need to get over it. Don't hang on to stuff. Like, girl, you just chewed her out. Her tears are not even fully dry. And you're like talking some, I don't hang on to things. Like, why are you gaslighting her, Alicia? Goddamn, I got whiplash, actually. Damn. And apparently, we hear some whispers that Alicia is a flip-flopper. So, Exhibit A. I'm interested to see where this goes, but yeah, I'm like, you gotta let a little time pass between you yelling at me and you telling me to get over it. I'm gonna need a little more time between that. Especially since, coming from the aggressor, and I thought Ashley called it out as well. She was right on the money when she said that reaction was Alicia showing Liz her loyalty. What do you guys think? But yes, Rhode Island, no notes. You know what? I actually do have one hot take, or it might not be hot, because I actually have been seeing this being said online as well, but I love my Dolo Dolores Catania, but you are doing nothing for me. You are, what people have to say about Phaedra is how I feel about Dolores, which Dolores is a friend of, so maybe this isn't a good comparison, but I just feel like I'm not getting anything from Dolores. I was the most excited to see her when this show premiered, and she's not giving me anything. She seems to have a real friendship with Liz, which we love real friendships on this platform. Give me more. Give me more. Give me more. But yeah, Dolo, rise up, my queen. That's this week's Bravo breakdown of Shelbz for the Culture. Atlanta is still figuring itself out, but giving us moments. And Rhode Island already feels like it understands the assignment. Let me know where you stand on all of this, especially the Portia situation and Alicia's fiance, because we need to talk about that. Make sure you're subscribed, share this with your group chat, and I'll catch you in the next episode.